Hi, gorgeous people. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're in tech right now, your notifications look a lot like mine. Every single day, we have a new AI model, a new feature, a new release, a new platform, a new coding agent. It's cool, but it's a lot. So specifically within Google's own environment, we have a lot of different tools, a lot of different platforms. So you get names like Antigravity, Gemini Agent Platform. How's a girlie supposed to know her match? How are we supposed to know what's the right tool for us and how to use it? Well, today consider me your guide. I'm going to give you a simple, clear overview and a way to navigate through all of the different Google AI products. At the end, we're going to find out what's the perfect tool for you or what are the perfect tools for you. And to make sense of it all, you need to understand that in Google's own environment, we have two different worlds. We have the enterprise world and we have the consumer or experimental world. So when it comes to the enterprise world, now, for a little unsolicited advice, I know that the word governance might sound a little bit boring, might sound a little bit icky, but in the world of AI, it's actually quite crucial. So, in order to make sure that your agents and your tools that you're working on can work on your confidential company data, you need to make sure that they're working on the enterprise world. Knowing that your confidential data is in an enterprise governed system is actually what gives you the freedom to create, to build, to innovate using this specifically setting. So Safe AI isn't just smart, it's also quite chic. So think of it as your professional governed workspace. And these tools are backed up by Google Cloud and Google Workspace. They are built for security, for scalability, and for working on your confidential company data. Then we have the consumer and experimental world. And this is the space that we have for creating experiments, maybe for prototyping, for created web apps, or vibe coding some apps, for example. And here you might hear tools like Stitch, like Opal, like Jules. They're amazing for personal productivity, for maybe automating workflow or creating and vibe coding a very cool web app, but they're not safe for an enterprise setting. So keeping this separation in mind is key to quickly innovated prototyping and also putting prototypes into production-safe environments. But enough about framework. Let's actually find your tools. And for this reason, I actually created a web app. I use actually Stitch and Antigravity, so two of the tools that we have at Google, actually give you an overview about what type of AI persona can you be, what are the requirements for this, and all of the different tools that we have from the enterprise, but also the consumer and experimental world. And then let's take a deep dive into all of the different Google's AI products that we have right now, so that you can also understand what do they do and if they meet your requirements, so to understand which is the right tool or tools for you.
So basically, this is the web app that I have created, and you can see here, the first thing that you do is that you have to target user personas and roles that you might like to have. And here, these are only a couple of them. It can be that you're in between, it can be that your role is completely different, but just to give you an overview. Maybe you're a software developer, and this is something very close to also to my role because it's about writing, about shipping, about integrated features and production code, and you feel maybe the most safe if you're working on your IDE on Orange Terminal with the CLI. So it's all about creating code, making sure that you create maybe web application. You can be a front end, back end. So this is very much when it comes to software developer, what could be the right AI tool for you to use. Also, maybe you're an agent developer, and I know that this role is also pretty new, but it's basically someone that builds, tests, and deploys autonomous agents. So it can be that you maybe are constructing a multi-agent setting with different agents. You're orchestrating them. You need to make sure that your tool supports you not only building your agents, but also deploying them, scaling them, optimizing them, maybe governing them. So this is what of a couple of requirements that you would need to have. Then you have maybe the citizen developer, and this is someone that maybe has no programming skills or low programming skills. You're maybe designing customized workflows. You want to optimize workflows. Maybe you're building micro applications without writing any code. So for this, you might be required something like drag and drop settings. Now we have, of course, the UI and UX designer. And if you're like me and you're no creative at all, I don't have a single creative bone in my body, but I actually really like creating the front end to my web apps. And for this, there are a couple of really great tools when it comes to vibe design. So you can not only today you can not only do vibe coding, but also vibe deciding. And there's really great tool when it comes to create sketches, maybe wireframes. And the last thing is a knowledge worker. So maybe you feel very comfortable when it comes to using maybe Excel sheets, creating slides, creating documents. Maybe you're having a little bit of trouble maybe finding documents. This is something that happens a lot to me. But once you understood what are the perfect or what are your requirements, we can launch into the product catalog. Here you can see the product catalog in my web app that I have created. And this is only to give you an overview or a little bit. There are not all of the different products, but a good amount of products. And you can see here, I have a couple of filters that you can select. For example, let's take a look. We have enterprise to consumer. So I was already talking about the separation of words within Google AI. So let's take a look at it together. And first, I would like to start with the enterprise setting. So let me just select that. And let's take a look at the tool. I would like to start actually with the Gemini Enterprise app as a landing page. If I open it, you can see here. So this is Gemini Enterprise app, and this is also how it looks like. So you have maybe already seen it. And for me, this is a very good everyday AI surface for your whole workforce. So it basically, if you want to search within your company data, your business data, it connects to your Drive, to your SharePoint, and to many more different sources. It also gives you very good quality of content generation. You can select different models of the Gemini family. It also has a low code agent designer that lets you already build agents without having to code the agents. And what it also has that is also coming and it's already in preview is the skills. So you can also create in a low code way and via prompting your own skills in reusing them. So the second one that I wanted to show today, because it's pretty new, Gemini Spark. So this is the Gemini Spark agent, and it's built already into the Gemini Enterprise, and it's pretty new. But it's basically a 24/7 proactive personal AI, and it can run background tasks. So this is quite new. You can have multiple parallel background tasks to complete a specific goal. You can have scheduled tasks. For example, you want a recurring task recurring every single day, and it has even the same functionality as Gemini Enterprise that grounds across your corporate data sources. What you can use it is you can use it, for example, I use it when it comes to creating artifacts. It can be like, hey, I need to prepare for a specific customer meeting. Research me all about this specific customer, research me many different topics, create me a document to do the debrief, create me maybe some slides with specific layout to present to my customer. This is also very, very good when it comes to productivity. And you can also use it with different Gemini models here. The one that I also wanted to present today, because I have been talking a lot on it, it's Antigravity. And Antigravity, you can have it in different flavors. You have the Antigravity agent manager, which basically looks like this. I already did a video on it, but it's basically a UI where you can talk to your different agents, and it is a coding agent, right? So I use it when it comes to creating maybe web applications, creating agents, a lot of different stuff. It also has parallel agents, so you can have multiple of sub agents working on specific tasks. And what I really, really like are also the features on it, right? You see. You can always talk to your agents. It creates artifacts for you. So before you even start coding, it will create an implementation plan for you, letting you know exactly step by step how it will reach your goal. It would, after it has completed it, it will create also a walkthrough to you so you can understand what have you created. And you don't need to change your IDE. You can still work with your IDE and see all of the code differentiation. So what has changed or what code was created by different coding agents. And if you're maybe someone that has been working with code even before AI became trendy, maybe the anti-gravity CLI is more useful to you. That lets you interact via terminal. So you can see here, it's ideal for scripting, for custom automation, and for terminal focused workflow. So you can exactly, as it would be with the chat, you can select your skills, you can select your model, and start interacting with the Gravity Code Agent, but from your terminal, which is also very useful. One thing that I also wanted to just to deep dive, it's the Gemini agent. It's the Gemini Enterprise agent platform. One thing I wanted to deep down is the Gemini Enterprise agent platform. So if we come inside of it, you can see here, this is what it looks like. And which role would it be important? It's a little bit more of a meta question because I think it can be very useful for different roles because it is the backend for a lot of our tools. What do I mean? Well, we already talked about the Gemini Enterprise, right? We were mentioning there you can create even agents, you can build agents. But the Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform is basically our platform to build, scale, govern, and optimize enterprise-grade agents. Here you have multiple of use cases. It includes a model garden with several of Gemini models or open models, third-party models. It includes an agent studio. It includes also the agent runtime. So once you deploy your agents, this is exactly what you're seeing here. You can see all of your different agents. You have skill registry, agent registry. You can even leverage the features when it comes to governance. So agent gateway, maybe I did a video also on it, on agent gateway, semantic policies. So you can see here, it has a lot of different features, and it's really if you want to take one thing from the session today, it's basically, if you want to make sure that your agents are enterprise grade and you are making use of all of the managed service that we have when it comes to agents, this is the place to go. So I already talked about a lot of different products. There are some couple of more that, for example, are very cool. Google AI Studio, I already talked about it. It's a very cool, fast browser-based environment to build prototypes, maybe from natural language prompts, or you can also use the templates there in order to create your applications, and you have even a one-click deploy to run maybe as a cloud run application. So it's really the easiest and fastest way for go all the way from idea to a running app. And one thing here, because we were mentioning about enterprise and consumer, there are two flavors of it. We have the enterprise version of Google AI Studio, and we also have the consumer version of Google AI Studio. So make sure that you know which one you're using in which context. So I talked to a lot of products, and you can see here we have a lot more of them. But what I wanted also to discuss, because we already talked about the enterprise setting, is about the consumer setting. So if I change to consumer, you can see here we have three different flavors of our apps that we have for a consumer audience. And the first one I already talked about because I really, really like it, and it focuses on the UI UX designers. It's the Stitch. And if we open it, you can see this is how it looks like. And the headline is transforming ideas into UI designs for mobile and web application. And it's basically a design tool that does exactly this via prompts, and you can also interact via voice, for example, or a sketch or a screenshot. You could provide anything as an input, and it will create you high fidelity UI designs, so that you would have this as an output, maybe the frames, maybe the color palette, maybe the specific design that you can use maybe as input into a coding agent to create your web apps, for example. How I use it is I always use it to create a front end. I use then an MCP tool and use the design from Stitch and give it to the coding agent of Antigravity, and then let's as a context for design. There are a couple more tools, for example, Opal and Jules. And this is, so for example, the Opal, here you can see, is a no-code builder that lets you describe what you want in natural language, and it creates different workflows. So it can automate different workflows. in a way that doesn't need really code behind it. So you can also experiment it specifically if you're a citizen developer that like to maybe accelerate workflows or create specific workflows. This is how you can use it. And the last tool that I wanted to mention today is Jules. And what I like about Jules and why is it from a consumer setting also very satisfying? So it targets a little bit more or focus a little bit more on the software developers. And you can imagine it as a fire and forget background agent. So you can assign in a task, maybe clone a completely repository in a secured cloud virtual machine. And it can make maybe some modifications. It can open pull requests for review. So it's basically ideal for fixing backlog bugs, maybe dependencies updates, maybe Flasky test repairs. And what I really, really like is on my free time when I'm creating prototypes for myself, this is how I use it. So Jules is a very cool web app that lets you interact with a background agent. So this is basically the web application that I created.
So thank you so much for watching, and please leave a comment and let me know what tools are you already using. Maybe not only Google's tools. Maybe there are so many different tools right now. So see you in the next video. Bye.